Hello, good morning, and welcome. My name is Liz, and today I'll be making a Regency era gown. And a bonnet!
Yeah, it's Liz. Yeah, it's Liz. Taking shots and doing stuff with Liz.
I may or may not be making a video ranking all of the adaptations of a certain novel by Jane Austen. I am. I can confirm that I am. So because I wanted to make my life a little difficult and I hate looking good in dresses, I decided to make an Austen era style dress. I'm motivated by my friend and fellow YouTuber Vic and inspired by one of my favorite creators, Rachel Maxey. All of Austen's books take place in the Regency era, also known as the Empire period, which is where we get the name for the Empire waistline. The Empire period, really heavily inspired by the Greco-Roman era as far as philosophy and fashion goes. It's really evident in the hairstyles and the draping of dresses. Square neckline, empire waist, loose to the floor, they're ugly. So let's see what I got from the thrift store. Sheets! Smells bad. I got this 3-piece sheet set and you bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna try to use this already made ruffle. I got this hat to make a bonnet that says beach please on it. I saw a tutorial and in theory you like fold some things and voila! Bonnet! This shirt for, I don't know, and ribbons. Let's do this. I tried to do something fun, but it was a bad idea. I laid my fabric out on the floor, then I laid down next to it to see how tall I was and how long to make it. Here I realized my tape is too short. Then I cut it. I folded it and I cut it, which is an inaccurate way to do it, but I did it and I have to live with the consequences. My scissors suck. I go get new scissors. I keep cutting. These scissors, a lot better. I use a dress that I really like the fit of for reference in order to see where I like my armpits and my shoulders, and then I gave up a little bit. So I'm doing this thing where I cut out a piece of fabric that's wider than the elastic, and then you sew the fabric to the dress to make a channel for the elastic so you have a stretchy waist. But then I didn't want to do that at all, and I just made a belt so that I could take it out and adjust it, and I didn't have to do the hard stuff. I took a little emotional break. Then I started making my sleeve. So I had a pillowcase that had little fluffies on it. And then I tear stuff that sounds nice. And then I cut out little triangles. Oh, that's a square. No, it's a rectangle. Oh my, I don't know shapes. I failed kindergarten. No, seriously, I went through kindergarten twice. I then spun around my 2 sleeve panels in order to disorient them. And then you cut them into a general sleeve shape is what Makara Tours calls it. That's vague, but it's like a little headboard. It's cute. I mean headboard, and also I'm about to sneeze. I hope you said bless you, because otherwise that'd be kind of rude. Here I'm cutting open the opening of the dress and making the neckline a little deeper because, you know, scandal. Then I sewed the top of the dress together so that it wasn't just like a weird toga thing that just fell down around my body. You know how it is. I'm trying to make a joke that's like sewing machine Estevez, but like who remembers that Sheen from Jimmy Neutron's last name is Estevez? Do you? Like now you know, so sewing machine Estevez. This is me pinning the hem of the neckline in order to leave enough room to have a little ribbon come through. But then I do like a really bad job sewing it because it's around these corners and I'm not good at it. So I had to actually like reopen parts of the neckline and then sew them back together in order to get this little safety pin through it. And it was a long process and a little frustrating, but I did it and I had a little ribbon and success. I then took a quick break in order to eat my dinner, aka mac and cheese, and watch a period miniseries starring Colin Firth, which I'm sure isn't related to this video. I sewed my sleeves on and did the neckline, and it looks really ugly, but my roommate said this.
Can you imagine how big my titties would have looked?
I wasn't loving how it turned out, so I twerked in the hallway like a weird little ghost to make myself feel better. I bet you couldn't tell it's the next day. Of course we can. I made a dress. Allegedly. It's bonnet time. I've got my beach hat. As you can see, it's floppy and too big. I'm gonna cut the back and then fold it, and I've got spray starch to get it stiff. Every moment of this is painful. So in theory, it sits like that. I'm gonna spray in the mirror. Okay. That's cute. She's a moment. I'm into it. I have to line the edges of the hat so that it doesn't fray. I might get out the hot glue gun. I did get out the hot glue gun, but not before I did some beekeeping cosplay. Essentially, I just ripped apart this J. Crew shirt into all the different panels and then pinned the different pieces onto the hat until I liked how it looked, and then I hot glued it down. You know those little chainmail gloves they make for mandolins? They need to make those but for hot glue guns so you don't burn your fingers. So this is my first look at the bonnet and I am obsessed. I look like a little cartoon baby. Somebody told me that I look like those little clams from Alice in Wonderland. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed! I made a matching ribbon for my bonnet by cutting the hem off of one of the sheets, and then the hat and dress were done. Hey kitty, shall we walk to Meryton? Okay. Cut to the next day. I'm looking a little modern right now, and people in the Regency era would call me a whore, so I'm gonna switch up my hair and makeup. Makeup for this time period is really minimal. They prefer the natural look. It's a reaction to the French Revolution. It's about natural beauty, so an even complexion and slightly rouged cheeks will do the trick. For hair, I just have to worry about the front half because I'm wearing a bonnet and just doing an updo. This era is characterized by a middle part and tight little curls, so let's see how that works. Bye! I parted my hair in the middle, pulled back the majority of my hair, and gave myself 2 big old sections up front to work with. I took smaller sections and sprayed them down with this hairspray that I got from Aldi, brushed it out, and then put pillow rollers in, making sure to curl my curls into my head and not look away from it, you know? I use a method very similar to this whenever I curl my hair casually, except I use this foaming style wrap lotion stuff that actually makes it really smooth and sets overnight and has a really tight hold. I used hairspray so it would hurt when I sprayed myself in the face, and also so I wouldn't have to have rollers in while I went to work, so I wouldn't get bullied by preschoolers again. So, you know how it is. I take off my makeup with a reusable wipe in order to not get burned at the stake for the witchcraft that is liquid eyeliner. Then I moisturize because unlike Caillou, I'm not a war criminal. The Regency era favored a quote-unquote milky complexion because they wanted ladies to be leisurely and also they were racist. I went over with my own foundation in order to achieve the model complexion of the little boy that haunts your attic. They would actually make black soot for their eyelashes and eyebrows by like burning a cork or the bottom of a plate, but I stopped drinking and I'm on an all juice diet, so no corks, no plates, just Maybelline. In portraits, their lips and cheeks usually match, so I used my liquid lipstick on my cheeks in order to add a little color, but not enough to make me look like a whore. Then I put some on my lips, I put my little old-fashioned glasses on, and then I was ready to go to Maymont. Whoop woo! Except it literally started hailing as soon as I got there, so fun times. But of course this didn't stop me from taking videos in front of this wall and embarrassing myself when a tourist couple came up and asked me what event I was from, and I just had to admit that I was doing this of my own volition, my own Honda Accord. Luckily, I did get to keep the original ruffle hem, and of course I got to keep my Crocs on. They were setting up for an event that night at Maymont, so I got to stand under this little awning while a Bud Light truck backed up and just stared at me. I've got to get to the gazebo. Here I am living my Keira Knightley Gazebo 2005 adaptation of Pride and Prejudice fantasy, not that this is about Pride and Prejudice or anything. Truly, the fit of this dress makes me look like I'm at least 4 months pregnant, so I cover my belly in every single shot. Dramatic. Sure, it looks like I've been mourning over my husband who will never return from war, but really I'm just mourning over the loss of public restrooms. Like, I need a public restroom. Truly. Shake it. This is me reenacting what it'd look like if I was laughing at a party, but then I saw the burglar in the corner. Okay, I actually just look really cute, and I'm holding my little picnic picnic basket. It says Lola Stitching on it, and it's hand-painted. It's really, really cute. Also, shout out to Catherine, a woman with whom I was purely acquainted with before I showed up to her house in full garb asking for a teacup. That wasn't for you, Catherine. I really appreciate the teacup. This is me pretending I know how to read, and I'm reading a book by Jane Austen. It's, oh, nope, not related to this video at all.
I'm 27 years old. I've no money and no prospects. I'm already a burden to my parents.
Well, I mean, that could be from, like, any Jane Austen book. Like, you know, that could be anyone.
Circumstance, all these things, and I'm willing to put them aside and ask you to end my agony.
I don't understand.
I love you.
Okay, you got me. It's Pride and Prejudice. Also, I tied the belt around my waist, and oh my god, this looks so much cuter. I'm gonna go frolic through a field. Anyways, I'm asking you most ardently to like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Monkey.